In 1919, the Michigan State Farm Bureau was created during a meeting of 57 County Farm Bureau representatives at Michigan Agricultural College in East Lansing. Jacob Hoffman of Oakley attended the meeting as president of the Saginaw County Farm Bureau, a group then required for counties to have county agricultural agents. Fred Cornier of Chesaning was a member of the first Michigan State Farm Bureau Board as chairman of the Crop Committee. In 1935, the Saginaw County Farm Bureau was incorporated into the growing Michigan Farm Bureau and started implementing the Farm Bureau grassroots structure that included creating community Farm Bureau groups that would be the basis for policy development and the major source of volunteers. As agriculture recovered from the impact of World War II, the Saginaw County Farm Bureau community groups grew across the county. Each group held regular Farm Bureau meetings to discuss issues and have an evening away from the farm.
I know it's been over 40 years that a bunch of us were raising our children at the same time. We didn't have a lot of free time because most of us were dairy farmers, and so we didn't get a night out very often, and some of us got talking and we said, well, we should have our own Farm Bureau group. And so several of them came from Thomas Township and from Tibbetawasi, so we're the Tomwasi. We put them together to have both of them. And our kids grew up together. We would take them with us, you know, at night. They would play with each other. They got to know each other, and we're still together basically after 40-some years. Most of us are still in the group.
Community Farm Bureaus became community action groups that continue to provide ideas for policy development committees and help find solutions to local and state problems facing agriculture.
We couldn't get over how we got the bottle bill passed finally. After we got conservation people behind us, we thought it was a joke. Every year we'd go and say we got to have a bottle bill. And then all at once we got it passed. And the word ecology came along somehow, and it pretty much changed everything in agriculture. One of the big issues was early times getting rid of the personal property tax on our livestock and equipment. That was a tough battle. But then we said, well, General Motors and the factories don't pay on their personal property, so why should the farmers? And by golly, we got it off.
Sometimes we didn't get anywhere. Other times we were pretty successful, and one of them was the PA 116 that was developed. We worked a number of years to try to get that accomplished. It took a lot of work in Lansing at the county level to be prepared to go to Lansing. It was, at times, we thought we were beating a dead horse. We thought we would never get it accomplished. And then all of a sudden it would pick up and it would go in your direction. And then just turn right around and you say, it ain't gonna happen, it's falling apart. And finally, it got passed. So there was a lot of ups and downs with any legislation we worked on. PA 116 is just one example of it.
That was part of the government streamlining task force to promote or to get candidates that were friendly to agriculture. And after the election, Farm Bureau was very pleased. We had 84% of the people that were friendly for agriculture did get elected into office.
Community Farm Bureaus were the source for volunteers for the county committees, including citizenship, information, state and national legislative, picnic, nominating, and labor. Each community group was also asked to have 2 women participate on the Women's Committee.
Probably about 1975, that's when my children were old enough, and then I said to our group, community group, that I really think we should get involved with this women's committee. And they still couldn't get excited about it. And I said, well, I'm going. And I did. And I noticed what they were all doing, and I thought that was wonderful. We planned Washington Legislative Seminar. We planned the Lansing Legislative Seminar. Then we had Meet the Candidate. We went to a hall and we invited all the candidates that were running for office. Then we had agricultural displays at the fairs and at the malls when we got to talk to many, many people. We had a lot of health and safety projects that we took out on the farm. You know, when the slow-moving vehicle signs came into effect, we had meetings out on the farm to introduce them. I knew Terry Henney very well, and he would tape little agriculture news and hints, and then that he would air.
In 1986, the Women's Committee became Promotion and Education, but programs like Ag in the Classroom and reaching out to the public at the fair are still going strong.
I think we're doing a very good job at the new Saginaw Fair. Maybe it's the changing times, but I think a lot of people now are going back. They're remembering when they were kids and they went to the fair, and I think they're wanting to take their children there to see the animals and to visit with people that know about farming.
The P&E people, they've been pretty busy at the Ag Heritage Days in Frankenmuth. There's also the Murphy Farm in St. Charles, where it's an educational farm where all school districts from around the county go to learn more about agriculture. We were there at their Ag Day back in May and promoting agriculture, showing the students where our food comes from.
While community farm bureaus were being organized, younger members were joining the Junior Farm Bureau that evolved into the Young Farmer Program. The program focused on education, leadership development, and getting young farmers involved in the County Farm Bureau.
I was cultivating beets one day, and this station wagon drove up and stopped by the row, and a guy got out and came over, and it was Howard Ebenhoe. And Howard wanted to talk with me. And it was a hot day, and we didn't have cabs and air conditioning, so he had an air-conditioned car. So we went and we sat in his air-conditioned car, and he wanted me to be membership chairman for Saginaw County Farm Bureau, and to get involved and to be in the young farmers and the whole works. And oh my goodness, I'd never done anything like this before, hadn't talked to Sharon about it. But that air-conditioned car, and we must have sat there and visited for a half hour or better, because I didn't want to get out, because it was nice and cool in there, and it must have been 90 outside. And he finally talked me into it. And that basically was how I got started in Saginaw County Farm Bureau. We went to a Young Farmers Conference shortly after that, and found out what Farm Bureau was really all about, and got involved.
Well, I got into Farm Bureau about 4 years ago. I was asked by a board member. He told me that they were looking for a young farmer chair. I really didn't know anything about Farm Bureau yet at the time. So he asked me if I'd be interested in being a member, and if I'd be interested in being the young farmer chair. We do a pizza party in the wintertime for the young farmers. We've done a scavenger hunt the last couple years for the kids at the fairgrounds that show animals. That's gone over really well. And we just do a few other fun things. We've helped out the last couple of years at the Agricultural Heritage Day at Frankenmuth High School, and we're looking at doing something similar with Chesaning High School possibly this fall.
The biggest thing that I think with Farm Bureau was getting farmers to understand what Farm Bureau was and what Farm Bureau had the capabilities of doing. And Farm Bureau really is, and still is, in my estimation, the only real general farm organization that represents farmers. And because it's grassroots. It starts out like Sharon and I did with the Young People's Conference and get involved in the county. And then, as you know, I ended up being on the state board for 10 years. I graduated from the University of Michigan Farm Bureau because I probably got as much education on the real world in agriculture from Farm Bureau as I did at Michigan State University.
As the Saginaw County Farm Bureau was working to help agriculture through county programs, affiliate companies provided farmers with the tools to be successful and feel secure about their future. Farm Bureau Services provided grain handling, sold seed and animal feed, and produced fertilizer at a plant in the county. They sold paint, steel, and farm machinery. The Petroleum Co-op owned oil wells and sold everything for cars and tractors, from tires to batteries, along with heating oil, kerosene, and gasoline. Farm Bureau Insurance was created to provide for the farmers' insurance needs and to help create a predictable future for families. Farm Bureau Credit Union continues to provide banking needs for members. As the years passed, traditions came and went. In the 1950s, more than 4,000 people attended the Saginaw County Picnic that for more than 20 years provided family fun. And in the 70s, the Young Farmer Committee helped crown the Bean Queen. Membership was called Roll Call for years until the need for more creative motivation changed the name. But kickoffs and victory parties still begin and end the process. The county annual meeting for years featured the crowning of the Saginaw County Farm Bureau Queen, who would represent the county at events and compete at the state annual meeting. County programs have changed names, but the participation of volunteers continues to make Farm Bureau a grassroots organization.
It stems back to our mission statement. We are here to promote and to protect agriculture in this county. And I think that's what we've been doing all along for the past 75 years, to keep our agriculture, to keep our industry strong, and to protect it so that it continues to stay strong and so we can keep growing.